We are live on Facebook. A very warm welcome to each one of you who have joined us. We have about 60 participants here, and we also are live on Facebook as well as on Zoom. So you can join wherever you want to. We have a very famous personality here who is going to do this story selling session for you all. We all have heard stories, different kind of stories. It's not a fairy tale. It is just an art of storytelling under a people tree. It's something like that. The kind of emotions which you feel, the kind of expressions, the kind of facial expressions which you make in story, it matters a lot when you do storytelling. And that's what Geetha Ramanujam will bring it live on Zoom and Facebook today. So let me introduce and have a pleasure to introduce Geetha Ramanujam. Whenever I ask her for time, she says, I'm so busy because she's always widely traveling. Sometimes doing storytelling in Germany. Sometimes I find her in France. Sometimes I find her all over the world. And today we have her because of lockdown. I could catch her and said, can you do the storytelling session for our parents as well as for the viewers? She said, why not? And I'm so glad that Geetha to have you here today. So Geetha Ramanujam, besides being an internationally renowned storyteller and an educator, that's what I call her, because I met her a couple of years back when I was a principal at India International School. And she said, yes, storytelling can always be part of education. Academician and administrator, she is the executive director of Kathalaya Trust, established in 1998, which is the culmination of a vision and wisdom. Geetha Ramanujam is the founder of Kathalaya 1998 and an Ashoka Fellow. She has also established and founded the Academy of Storytelling, the only globally recognized academy for storytelling in the world. She has completed 150 certified beginners and diploma courses so far. She has had performances of storytelling and has trained at the Scottish Storytelling Centre, UK, Norway, Germany, Japan, Singapore, Thailand, South Africa, and Austria, Greece, Istanbul, Thailand, Japan, Sweden, Poland, USA, Sri Lanka, and recently Bocadu Festival at Brazil. I think it's wonderful and fantastic, Geetha. She's also the Indian coordinator for the International Storytelling Network, RIC, besides being the Indian coordinator of the Indian Storytelling Network. Geetha has several awards to her credit, including the recent International Award for the Best Storyteller at Bocadu Storytelling Festival at Brazil and the Governor's Award in Tamil Nadu for the Best Story Narrator. Geetha uses storytelling as an effective educational and cultural tool in training for parents, teachers, NGOs, and corporate sectors, both in India and abroad. Over 85,000 people have undergone her training programs. Geetha is also a consultant in education and is on the board of several education institutions and storytelling centers, both in India and abroad. She has visited over 43 countries in the world and 27 states of India. I think it's a beautiful, enriched, the curriculum, or whatever you can say, your curriculum vitae. And I think I'm so impressed with you. And I've always been impressed with you for the last 18 to 20 years. So very warm welcome to Geetha here. And Geetha, will you like to tell the audience your journey of storytelling and how did it start and how did Kathalaya come into picture?
Thank you, Usha. Thank you so much. I'm so privileged because I know I met you a long time ago. And I think COVID has its own advantages. One of the advantages is that we can connect online and also to connect with all the educators, with all the people who are now logging in for my session. Thank you very much again for this invitation. So if I have to start a story of how I came to be a storyteller, well, it will take more than about 2 hours. So what I'm going to do is, I would definitely say one thing for sure. It was a wonderful journey being a teacher, right from the nursery section to the 10th standard, and to have taught in schools also, which gave me a lot of liberty and lineage to experiment with storytelling. So I think it's been a wonderful journey. Now, why did I start experimenting with storytelling is because I grew up on stories. Grew up on stories from listening to it from my very strangely not from my grandparents as much as my parents itself. I think my parents moved to Bombay and they said we should not lose out on our culture. My mother, especially being from Tanjavur, was very particular that I know something about the background of our own culture. And she thought she already knew a lot of stories. So she fed me with a lot of stories in Tamil. So because in Bombay, where I grew up, there was no second language Tamil at all. There was second language Hindi, and third language was Marathi. And of course, the spoken language is what the Macaulay education did to us 1835. And Lord Macaulay said English should be the medium of instruction. We all became English speaking people, English thinkers, and we kind of lost out on all our regional tongues. So, one of the things that our tradition carries is also our own stories. There are a lot of words in our own indigenous languages which cannot be replaced by the English. But at the same time, let's not discard English because we have to survive, which is a language of survival. Today we have English medium schools. And so my father was very particular that I speak the language well. Now, this is very important. How does one get an appropriate hold of a language? How does the pronunciation come in well? Is only when you listen to the language. And I think my parents used a beautiful device. So my mother always used to tell a lot of proverbs like "Kalda kanda kutti chavara," or don't be like that. That forgot its name. So when I asked her the story, or why did that housefly forget its name, then she would start a story in Tamil. So that's how I was fed on story. Korokora kandre, kandin taye, tayin vadaya, odayin kayil kole, ole chuttum kodiye, kodi vadarum kudame, kudathil nirkum kokke, kokku pidikkum meene, meen pidikkum valaya, valayin kayil chatti, chatti pidikkum koyavan, koyavan tarum manne, mannel valarum pulle, pulle thingum kudaraye, en per enna. Now this is a story. So it looks like that, right? So the Ra language, which was very predominant in our Tamil language, then she would teach me, like, so Ra is established over there. The same way, my father told me stories, he also brought a lot of alliteration. When Betty bought a bit of butter to make the bit of butter better, Betty bought a bit of butter to make the bit of butter better. So now, it was so easy when you roll your tongue, when your pronunciation becomes clear, and when you learn several languages when you're young, isn't it? So language development happens best when you also listen to a story, right? So stories have why is story attractive when you teach a language? That's because we're wondering what happens next. What happens next? What happens next? And you're glued to that story. When you love something, when you are interested in something, then naturally your whole self is absorbed in the story. I still remember that my mother was wearing a yellow sari with a black embroidery border. Now this was when I was 8 years old. So if I can remember that, I think it established something very important that we are all losing out today, which is called memory. So when you listen, you retain, you recall, you retell. And don't you think that was the foundation of all oral traditions? Well, that's how I grew up. So there was no written word because I created images in my mind. And when that images are very vivid, then you recall the pictures rather than the words. Words follow later. First come sounds, isn't it? And then the images. And after the images come the words. So now words is what we learn from when we start in our school, especially in the English medium schools. So I think storytelling, I felt that when children, I was a history teacher and an English teacher, and children, history, it's all, people think it's only about facts. It's very boring. So when I became a teacher, this was way back in 1982. So from 1982 to 1996, I was a teacher. So I know exactly how teachers feel. I know how you have to occupy a 40-minute period, right? So the best way to engage children is when you don't have to tell a story for the 40 minutes. You begin with a story or you merge a story. Yeah. I remember in the school that I taught first, SSVM, there used to be a lot of hawkers going down the road. And I used to just observe. Steel, patre, salmon, voice. What would read? All the children would turn, isn't it? Because that sound was very absorbing. That sound which would get attention. So, tomato, right? When they shout, you can hear even after the fourth floor. They don't need voice modulations. And then I would find that children, when you tell stories or when you teach a subject, Baba, black sheep, Aviani, bull, SI, three blacks. One for my master, one for my day, one for my God. That's how the teacher's teaching. The teacher has to have energy. The teacher has to have a voice. The teacher has to convey a concept which is interesting. So the best way to do that would be through a story, isn't it? Yeah? So I thought, why not make a concept interesting in education? That's how I began. This was very subconsciously. I mean, because I grew up on stories, I said, let me bring stories into the curriculum. But then the actual turning point came in 1996 when I was asked to be the librarian of a school. And this was a Krishnamurti Foundation school. So when I became the librarian, they all thought I'm going to be very quiet. Well, they were sadly mistaken. I did read a lot. It was a lovely opportunity. It's just like the COVID, right? When you have the lockdown, you find new ways of adapting yourself to whatever. Now you're doing online. Now that's because of COVID. The same way, when you're put into something, you think, what should I do? Then I said, let me accept the situation. Now, one of the things that my father always taught me was, don't react, just respond to a situation. Just accept what comes your way. So my father, he died in 95 and this was 96. And I was thinking of my father and I said, I'm here in the library with so many books. The books talk to you, yes, but it's a silent reading, isn't it? They're drunk in a lot of books. And then the children were returning books without reading, huge volumes, like War and Peace, for instance, or Agatha Christie. So they would borrow and they return the next day. So I would ask them, tell me the story, because I haven't read the book. And I remember children saying, and then I knew they hadn't read. So then now, what is the best way to motivate a child to read? I said, let me tell them a story. Story from an old classic, which people would not touch. Yeah? So it was a dark night, I said. And the wind was howling. Woo! 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 Eerie night. The full moon was up in the sky. It was lighting up the way, and there was a man walking. Tuck, 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 tuck. The door opened. And he stepped in. Tang! The bell would go. Now the children would say, tell us what happened next. And I'll say, well, this is a story from Wuthering Heights. And if you want to know about Heathcliff, you probably have to go to that book and go to page 37 and you will get the rest of the story. And children would rush. Yeah? So when you stop in an appropriate part and they are interested, they will definitely read. At least they'll read from the middle. So it's okay, as long as you're motivating them to read. And that's how I began, I think, my journey as a storyteller, because there was a person, of course, we all know Girish Karnad, so his children were also in the school, and there was his friend, and they were eavesdropping in the library, and she said, why don't you have a workshop in the city? I said, okay, I will. I can. What shall we call it? Let's call it storytelling. Yeah, that's a good idea because nobody had heard of storytelling. 1996. So there was 1 week workshop in the city. And in that workshop, we had epics, we had myths, we had legends, we had fairy tales. And every day one story, 1 week workshop on storytelling. Imagine at a time when people had not even heard of storytelling. Now we did have 10 children registered, even at that time. Thank all those parents who believed in storytelling then. So the last day I had kept for fables. Because children love to rush after a workshop. They'll run back home, right? So the last day we said, let's keep it fables. And all the parents could come and pick up their children. If they wanted, they could ask me questions. So the last day, I told them this story. They all know the story. Sometimes we all know things, but we love to hear it again and again, isn't it? So this is how I told the story. Once upon a time, 4 words that make such a lot of difference, isn't it? 4 powerful words. Once upon a time, there was a lion. The lion was prowling, looking this way and that way. He was hungry and he was very angry because he didn't find some food to eat. As he was prowling, he felt so tired. He found a tree and then he put his tail between his legs. He put his head down and began to sleep. And when a lion snores, it's not very soft. A little mouse, and this mouse was coming. And you know what? The mouse actually didn't see the lion's face, just saw the smooth body of the lion and said, "Ayya, ayya, let me play hide and seek." So he jumped. "Ayya, ayya, find me, ayya." The lion woke up, caught the mouse. The mouse, "Oh, please don't eat me, please. Let me go, please." Something about the eyes of that mouse. "Okay, go." The mouse ran and went panting and puffing. Now the mother, "Why are you panting and puffing?" "Mummy, today I would have been somebody's lunch." Then, "Mummy, you know what? I told one secret." "What?" "I told the lion, please let me go. I'll help you one day. I promise to help you." The mother said, "Oh, you did promise. You better keep up your promise, okay?" "Okay, Mummy." The mouse was off. And you know what happened? The lion was caught. "Help! Help! Help!" "Oh, friend, you're caught in the net." "Yes, just get me out. I don't like this net." "You're shouting too much." "You shout too much." "No, I can't think." "Oh, I told you no, don't shout. Please, don't shout. If you keep quiet only, I can keep." Okay. The lion moved back. Now the lion had to listen to the little mouse. The mouse said, "Can you move back a little bit?" The lion moved back. And now the mouse. "Idea." With the net. Of course, the lion came out and caught the mouse. "You told me you won't eat me." "No, I'm not going to eat you." "Then?" "You're my friend." "Really?" "Yes." "Can I play hide and seek every day with you?" "Sure," said the lion. And after that, the story was that they became great friends. It's a story we already know, isn't it? But that day, that night, that evening, everyone went back home. Our first workshop was over. And the next day, there was a column in the Times of India because the regional manager of Times of India had sent his child and he was waiting outside to take his child back. You see, destiny is something also, right? The star, probably the Arundhati star was right up. So that day, there was a column in the Times of India saying, "Eeyaw," sounds coming from a room. Because you can't translate, you can't translate that, right? The best you can do in English language is to make it "Eeyaw," sounds coming from a room. Who is this? A storyteller in action. If you want to contact her, this is her number. My whole destiny changed. 360 degrees.
Ma'am,
Yes.
I cannot understand the story.
You can't understand?
Yeah.
Why not?
Let ma'am finish it, then you can ask question. Let
Yeah.
her.
Okay.
Thank you, baby.
Thank you. Okay. So now it changed 360 degrees, and that's how I became a storyteller. Now, that's how I became a storyteller.
Fantastic journey of a storyteller, Ms. Geetha. But I think that many of these educators who are here
Yeah.
and would like to know how to use puppets and
Yeah.
how to make the story come alive. So
Yes.
can session with you, Geetha, where children will also enjoy along with you. So
Yes,
let's
sure, sure. Sure.
Geetha. Yes.
So, here is a story. So, once upon a time, I was sitting along the river Ganges, and I was already, I had trained about 50 or 60 batches, I think. And I was wondering, am I doing the same story again and again? Am I still doing the lion and the mouse, the mountain and the bird, and all that? Should I not do something different? And I'm also using a lot of voices. So I said, let me also do something different. And what story to create? Because creativity is also very important in storytelling. So I wanted to create a story. So that's when I saw this little dewdrop. I'm sure you're all seen this dewdrop, haven't you? Even children, you know how a dewdrop is. Now it doesn't have a color, it doesn't have a shape, it just it falls. If you see on the leaves, you'll find this dewdrop. It's so beautiful, especially in the early mornings, right? So here is a story. So there was this dewdrop. And this dewdrop said, "Oh, I don't have a color." Actually, it is a sort of oval shape, but if you actually see a dewdrop, no, it doesn't have a shape. So this dewdrop is like a water.
Excuse me, ma'am. Geeta ma'am is not visible. Yes, yes. Now she is visible.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. So there, this dewdrop was wondering and said, "Oh, I don't have an identity. I don't have a color. I don't have a shape." And it went. It was rolling. And as it was rolling, it said, "I want a color. A color would be so nice." And whom did it meet? Yes, you're right. Met a sunflower. And asked the sunflower, "Hey, sunflower, you know, by the time the sunflower turned and it was facing the sun and said, "Hey, don't ask me any questions now. I am the only one who can face the sun. If you want a color, I'm sorry. You have to go and find some other place." Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, said the dewdrop. "I'm so sorry." And then suddenly he got a smell. Ah, oh, the perfume was beautiful. It was coming with the wind. Oh, lovely. Where is this? Where is this? Where is this coming from? And He entered. Bluck, 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 bluck. He rolled, he rolled, he rolled. And what happened? As soon as she got into that garden, she said, oh, 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 don't poke me, don't poke me, don't poke me. You know which flower it was, isn't it? What has thorns? Where had the dewdrop entered? Yeah, you're right. So that was the rose. And the rose already gave the answer that I cannot give you any of my smell. Oh, the dewdrop again went rolling. Bluck, 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 bluck. You know, when the dewdrop rolls, it's very slow. By the time it was evening, and it came to a beautiful pond. And guess what was in that pond, in the middle of the pond? You're right. There was the lotus. This lotus was about to close. And as she was beginning to close, there was a little bee that went zzz out of it. And now, as she was closing, she looked. And whom did she see? The dewdrop. And the dewdrop was trying to get into the lake. And the lotus screamed, don't come! You will dissolve! You can't even reach me! I'm closing! I'm sorry, I'm closed for the day. Uh-oh. Again, the dewdrop felt terrible. And now the dewdrop was slowly losing hope, And she slowly looked up, and whom did she see as a creeper? This was the blue creeper with a blue bell. Now, the dewdrop tried to ask the bluebell, but the bluebell said, oh, I'm just a creeper. I'm so dependent. I fade with the day. I'm so sorry, my friend. I can't lend you anything. I'm so sorry. Now the dewdrop, it was a beautiful, bright orange sky, but it was turning pink and purple, and it was blue, and there was a full moon that rose in the sky. And the full moon was so happy, and she lit up the path for the dewdrop as she moved block, 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 block. And as she was moving, she had lost hope. She didn't know where she was going. When suddenly she heard someone, hey, I can see the full moon in you. You look so beautiful. You're so beautiful. I can see the whole moon in you. Come, come, come here. Where are you? Asked the dewdrop. Here, just turn back. Just turn right back and you'll see me. And who was this? This is the jasmine. The jasmine was so happy. Come, come. Now the dewdrop, she went on to that jasmine. And you know what the jasmine said? Look, you can take my shape. You can take my smell. You can take my color. You look just like me. And the dewdrop said, yes. And you know what? The jasmine said, you know you're very special. The dewdrop said, really? I don't have a color. I don't have a shape. I go block, 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 block. No, you can become anyone. When you get onto the rose, you can take that color. If you go to the lotus, you can take that color. If you go to the sunflower, you can take that size, that shape. You can take any shape. You can even reflect the sun and the moon. Aren't you lucky? But look at me. I'm fixed. I can't move. Even if I want to be the rose, I cannot be the rose. The rose cannot become the sunflower. None of us can change. None of us can move. And none of us can be so accepting as you are. So aren't you lucky? Now, the dewdrop was so happy. She said, yes, I've learned to accept myself. And that's the story that I thought was the answer for me. Because I was asking myself a question. Am I a mother? Am I a good wife? Am I a trainer? Am I a teacher? Am I expecting something? Am I happy? Am I sad? So many questions, isn't it? But then this story, I think, gave me all the answers. So sometimes stories help you to find your answers too, isn't it? And this story, it need not be only for children. You can tell it to anyone. You can take it to any level. Because that's what stories do. Yes? So that's the story of how finally the dewdrop came to accept herself. Yes? Thank you. Okay, so we can use a lot of props. We can use a lot of sounds. We can use a lot of voice. You can use a lot of gestures. Right? What is this gesture? It's a fish, isn't it? The fish moving, right? They're trying to say hello to each other. Shall we make them say hello to each other? Yes. Hi, hi, hello, hello. Yeah? You can just use your body. You can use your expressions. How are you feeling during this COVID period? Sometimes I'm very happy. Yeah, I don't have to travel. I can do everything online. Happy. Yes. Sometimes I feel sad. I can't touch people. I can't hug them. I can't converse actually with them. That's all. My moods change. Sometimes I feel nothing. Sometimes I watch the tree outside my house and I feel very peaceful. Sometimes there are things that happen on the road and I watch. So you can use expressions, isn't it? You tell stories. You can use your own stories. You can tell your own stories. Stories don't have to be imported. Don't wait for stories to fall in your lap. You can tell your own stories. Tell your stories to your children. Tell your stories to your students. And don't just go rattling. Once upon a time, Akbar was a great king and conquered a lot of lands. It's a drone. It makes no sense. You're telling your body language matters, isn't it? Once upon a time, there was a little boy who told me the story, and I'm going to end with this. Once upon a time, there was a boy. And this boy, wherever he went, he had a little dog that followed. Whenever the boy went, this side the dog followed. Everywhere that boy went, the dog went. One day, this boy, he went to a huge lake where there was a lot of water. And in that lake, there was a boat, you're right. And now this boy got inside the boat. And who went behind him? What did both of them do? They rowed, and they rowed, and they rowed. And they went to the other side. Now the boy got down from the boat. And who went behind? The boy went around that island. He was very happy. And just like now, the sun was about to set. And he said, oh my God, it's going to be dark. He ran back to the boat. He got inside the boat. Felt very sad. He had to return. He returned to the island. He got down from that boat. And there was a beautiful tree. And he was very hungry. And he was very tired. And as he went under the tree, he found his dog. He was so happy. But since he was very hungry and very tired, went to sleep. Well, all you had to use was one finger. You can bring anything to storytelling, anything to engage an audience. Okay? Yeah. So share your stories, tell your stories. There's no good muhurtam to start. Start anytime. And nobody can become the best storyteller in the world in a day. Practice. And that's how, only through experience, you become a good storyteller. And you can be a good educator. Now, if I ask you, what can you connect for that dewdrop story? I'm sure you'll find a lot of things that you can connect to, isn't it? Besides just the different types of flowers. So you can make your own story plan and tell it to your children. And I'm sure they'll always remember the concept when you have told it to a story. Thank you. I think I can probably take some questions.
Yes.
Yes.
We actually learned a lot from Geetha Ramanujam today. It was like you can just make your own stories. You don't
Yes.
have a story in the hand, doesn't matter. And also she has told you that, small things makes a difference. And stuff like that. So today, educators, we have learned a lot from her, and I think a big round of applause for her. And now we have got some questions for you coming from the audience. Let's take that questions. Yes, that's a wonderful clap from all of you. And Ms. Geetha, you're ready to take questions from the audience?
Yes.
Yes. So you can ask a live question from her, and she's here to answer all the questions. Yes.
Like the method. Thank you. Thank you.
You just have to unmute your audio and you can ask questions.
Yes.
Or you can just put it in the chat and we can take the question for her.
Yeah, sure.
Anybody wants to know how to do voice modulation or expression, or anybody finds it difficult to do storytelling in the class, something, whatever you have the problem, you can always ask, and she's right in front of you to take your question.
Yes. Can we have a roly-poly caterpillar story? Okay,
There's a lady, please mute your audios. Kindly mute your audios. I've got one lady who's asked here how to do voice modulation, ma'am.
Okay, so we have a course that we have every month, almost every month. So the next course we have is on June 20th, 21st, 19, 20 and 21st. You can enroll. If you think it's a bit expensive for you, then we also have a webinar coming up, which is on June 28th of this month. So you can write to us at kathalaya@gmail.com. It's a 1.5 hour seminar. I'm just sharing the screen with you right now. If you can join, can you all see the screen?
See, all of you should know that she runs a workshop, and the workshop is a paid workshop. people who want to do the voice modulation, understand storytelling. There's a curriculum also which Geetha runs there, and
Yes.
there's an art craft integration with that. So you can also make props along with the storytelling. So
Exactly.
that's what she's saying. And
Yes.
can we have the email ID and the phone number of Kathalaya, please, on the
Yes.
screen?
Yes. 1 second. 1 minute. Yes.
Can we have the email ID and the phone number of Kathalaya, please, on the screen?
Yes. Yes.
Just scroll it up and you, I think
1 second.
it's there down.
Yeah.
That's the email ID
Yes.
of Kathalaya, kathalaya@gmail.com.
Kathalaya.com. So that's the next course also coming up, 19th, 20th, and 21st.
Yes,
If you
19, 20, 21 is the next course coming.
you will get a certificate. It's affiliated to the US and it's a very credible course. We have finished 132 batches so far. So you will definitely get a certified, you will be a certified stellar, and that makes it more authentic than just, doing something like, I don't believe in the cream of the cake. I think the cake has to be dealt with. Yes. So
Now they have a question, Ms. Geetha. They're saying, is it an online or how is it the storytelling they're
now
asking?
online, all courses now, all workshops right now is online. As soon as the COVID is over, we'll also open up our offline ones. Right now we are open with online. We have finished one batch online. This is the second one that we are offering.
They're asking one question is there for you. While storytelling in class, I see expressions of children. Can you give some tips for online Zoom class storytelling?
Yeah, that's why I said it will be great if they can
It's
join
important to do workshop.
webinar. Yeah, because a workshop will help them also how to use digital storytelling, how to do it online.
Okay, then screen sharing. Can we stop the screen sharing and
Yeah.
Geetha can come into the picture back again? Yeah.
Yes.
So, what's the message from Geetha ma'am to all of you? So let's hear a concluding message from Geetha ma'am with all her voice modulations. So we'll remember her all the time with us. Yes, Geetha ma'am.
Okay. So storytelling for me is about caring. When you care for a story, you share it, right? When you share it, you're giving that story. So it's all about caring, sharing, and giving. So do join us. We're all together in this journey, and let's, with our storytelling, so powerful that even COVID somehow makes itself visible and says, let me go away from here. Yeah. So let's make the stories. Let's send it out to the world, and let's do a lot of storytelling, which brings peace to our hearts. It's very transforming. It's very healing. I'm sure you felt it, a little bit of it, a jalak, I would say today. Thank you, Usha. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
this
Ms. Geetha,
opportunity.
so much.
Yeah.
And I think it's been a wonderful session with you.
Thank
And
you.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes,
yes,
very interesting session. Yes, Madhumati.
yes.
Yes.
I wanted to know about the workshop, the paid workshop which is coming up.
So it's on June
It's on
20th.
19, 2021.
Right. So you, why don't
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
It's on June 20th.
19, 20, 21.
Oh,
And how do I contact?
the 19, 20, 21. Yes. You can write to us.
Yes.
You
It's
can
how do
actually
I
check out
contact?
our TGSB website and Facebook. I will promote it there of her workshop.
Kathalaya@gmail.com. Just write to us and we will respond to you. You can
Okay,
register. We already have about 30 registrations. So please write to us immediately.
okay, okay.
How many can you take, Ms. Geetha, in a workshop?
Maximum slot is 35. So do
Okay.
write to us. Yeah.
So there'll be only 35 who can be taken in a workshop. That's what
Yeah.
Mrs. Geetha says. And
Maybe we'll extend it to 40. So
okay.
do write to us. Yeah.
Yes.
On
So what
Gmail,
we do
right?
is we will also WhatsApp and Ms. Manju ma'am will send you the contact number of hers. And
Yes.
so, Ms. Geetha, I cannot see you right now. I think you've gone
No,
off.
no, I'm very much here.
Okay.
We can see.
Can you see me?
Yes,
Oh, now
ma'am.
I can see this.
Yeah.
So let me pin your video. So Geetha ma'am is available there in that online
I
workshop.
can see her, ma'am.
I personally take the course also, the beginner's course.
Yes, she
So-
personally takes a course.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Sandhya Vinay has raised her hand. Yes,
Yes,
Sandhya.
yes, Sandhya.
Sandhya Vinay, you had a question for her? Sandhya Vinay. Okay. So we're trying to conclude this session now with saying thanks to her. And you've been a wonderful audience. And your storytelling will ever be remembered by all of us. So because you have made such an impression of the line, it's still, lingering in my mind. So I think if you need to tell a story, you have to tell it Geetha style. And today we had heart-to-heart chat with Miss Geetha. And I think that she did a very wonderful job. So thank you, Miss Geetha, for giving your valuable time for this. And I think we have got to learn expression, the way we have to make our eyes, hands, everything. And of course, the props, and we have to come up with the own story. So that's what the session is here. We are ending a session. And I think that
Tell
you all have
stories
got
from
the
your heart. Tell your
Yes.
stories from your heart.
from your heart. Yes.
Yeah.
You have been, everybody is asking, how do you get the energy? So can you just tell us one line, how do you get this energy to tell the story? So that's what I've seen messages.
I think I love the Narasimha story, Prahlad Charitram, where he believes that God will definitely help him, right? So I'm not saying any particular God. I'm saying I believe that nature has a way. You just have to surrender yourself to nature and say nothing will happen. Give me that energy, and I want to tell stories. Have the passion. Feel from your heart. You will find your energy.
That's a very nice way of putting it, Geetha ma'am. And I think that we have got that answer now. You all have got the answer. That at this age, if she has energy, I think you guys have more energy. So
Yeah,
please
yeah.
go with that and try to imitate her, rather can do much better. And all the best, to all the educators who are here in this forum, and also the
All
current
educators. Yeah.
storytelling for the children in the COVID time. So thank you, Ms. Geetha.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Namaste, a very new normal namaste going back to Vedic period because there's no handshakes.
Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Manju and
Thank
Usha.
you, ma'am.
We love you,
Thank you,
Geetha. We
ma'am.
love your stories. So keep on going on with your stories and we'll keep listening to your stories.
Sure, sure.